What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports Morning Show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm here with JSU, not Titletown, because Title woke up and there's a guy banging a hammer next door, and he even sent me a video of proof. So Title cannot make it, or else you guys would just be hearing a loud banging the whole show, and you do not want to hear that. So we got JSU here. We're going to talk about the weekend, all the sports that happened. We'll talk about the golf for a little bit. We'll talk about the NBA games as well. And just kind of talk about sports. JSU, let me bring you in. Thanks for filling in for Title. How is the week? How'd the weekend go? And how are you doing so far to start off your morning? I'm sure you did a ton of bear crawls to kick off the day.
Yeah, no bear crawls, but did have a pretty intensive workout, actually literally running in the door from the workout to get on this show. So not the workbench, the workout. So, I had to make time. Title told me, so I had to run a little faster, literally run a little faster outside to make it back in time for the 11 o'clock start time. As Mangone saw too, I got here like a minute after. So I did my best, you know what I mean? Didn't do the 20 miles like DC, but did my own little version of it. So it was spicy, but weekend was great. Actually, golf was good. It's probably the most golf I've ever watched, like for an entire 4 day stretch. I normally watch Friday's cut like later in the afternoon, and then I watch Sunday. This week though, I was watching Thursday, Friday, I watched Saturday for like most of the day Saturday, and then Sunday all day. Like I had it on all day Sunday. So it was a pretty good week. I mean, it wasn't the best finish for me because I did the whole, non-weather edge stack, obviously the one that didn't work out. So the tout said, because it was too owned, it was too popular, Mangone. 8% of the field had it, but it was too popular. So, you got some donkeys on Twitter who, don't know what they're talking about. They don't even really play DFS. They're fake touts. They don't win. They don't put their money behind it. And then they want to come and act like, they play and they know what they're talking about. And they just have no idea what they're talking about. And so it was fun seeing those guys cry about not playing Rory and getting the Scotty Scheffler, miscut, and all these, people who are just terrible. Whether it was the wind, whatever it was, there was still an edge. And I don't care what anyone says, the edge worked. And if you didn't use the edge, you probably didn't make money. And that's why you're on Twitter bitching instead of going and collecting your cheese at the end of the day, Mangone. So that's what I did.
There you go. You've been hanging out with Big T too long. The way you say cheese.
Yeah, the cheese thing was definitely a Big T thing. I definitely been hanging out with him a little too much. I am though, I'm not going to lie, I am pretty exhausted right now. So for anyone who's making fun of me, because I literally, I'm not even kidding you. I'm drenched right now. I'm soaked in sweat.
Well, appreciate you jumping in, JSU. I'm still stuck quarantining, dealing with this COVID garbage, but hey, it's been fine. I watched.
You sound better.
Yeah, definitely. I feel better, but I'm just sick of. I haven't left my house in 6 days, or my room basically. I've been stuck in this area, so it's been awful. But the golf was good. The ending, one thing too, I'm sure people will hammer at Will Zalatoris and Tambo specifically. So I'm gonna have Tambo on tomorrow to talk about his big showdown win this weekend. So that'll be fun. So I can't wait to kind of talk with Tambo about this. But all the people like Tambo who say Will Zalatoris can't win. Let's just say he didn't blow it. He did not blow that event. He did a great job. He easily could have won, but JT was just amazing. What can you do? It's not like he choked that thing away. So that was unfortunate. I had the same thing as you, though. I did the AM, PM. I actually only had one team, JSU, because I didn't feel as good. And I was just I'm just playing the one team and threw it in. Sweated out the min cash, your favorite thing to do. I did a nice little min cash sweat out at the end. And then that's because Alex Noren ruined everything for me and did not give me a 6-6. But overall, it was a good weekend. And I noticed
he was the one guy in my player pool. I played 25 guys, which I'll admit, I'm not an MME player. I do it for mainly golf, and that's it. Just to get a little – I like golf MME because I get, 3 or 4 days before the tournament. You have that whole time. So I don't feel rushed, Mangone, I don't feel rushed. It's not every day. or anything like that. So I feel like I can take my time. I can take in all the information and then just build my teams and stuff like that. So I do like MME and golf. And I had 25 guys in the player pool, which for anyone who's Tambo and all these guys, even Big T makes fun of me sometimes because I only play like 18 dudes or whatever, but it was the most I've ever played. And he was the one dude in my player pool that missed the cut. Everyone else made the cut. And again, this is where I come back to the weather edge. If you went by it, a lot of those dudes outside of Alex Noren pretty much made the cut. So I don't know, man, I don't get what people are talking about when they say it wasn't effective or didn't work. Why? Just because JT won in the end? Like, is that it? Is that their only talking point?
Yes, I don't know. I think it was clear there was some type of edge. But hey, I mean, yeah, I think it's JT is like the reason, but there was definitely an edge to it. You could for sure say that, because also if you did do it, well, you had a lot of Rory, right? Because again, like there weren't as many studs you could go to, and like Rory was like top 10. You know what I mean? Like I forget what he actually ended at finally.
Well, he was like 8th, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, though, you were going to play, some of these studs weren't great on the weekend, like Cam Smith. How many putts did Cam Smith make? Him and Rory. So I thought Rory actually, JT had the 2 best rounds of the weekend, probably like 2 singular best days of the 4. But I thought Rory, like on Sunday, outside of JT, like played the best golf and just missed some putts to get there he could have been in that playoff, Mangone, because he had so many opportunities to be there at the end, which would have been wild if he had to wait. Could you imagine sweating out that entire time, and then the Mito thing on 18 happens and you're like, oh shit, I might have to go back out there and golf like 3 hours later or whatever it was. Like that would have been wild to see, but I thought he played so good. And Cam Smith was the most tilting because the dude had so many missed putts. If you watch Cam Smith, it was hard because it was annoying all week. He just missed putts. I was like waiting for that low round, like in Showdown, where you're like, okay, this dude's right there, and he's going to get me one of those days where I'm going to hit a huge day in Showdown, and just couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, he was struggling. You know what was crazy? Cam Young. If Cam Young didn't double bogey the 16th, he then birdied the 17th, right? And then he would have been sitting there because he was at 4 under. He would have been at 6 under, and when Mito collapsed, he would have just won it. It would have been over. So that would have been crazy if that could have happened. So
there are so many little things like that could have just changed every situation. I will say, though, at the end of the day, JT was the best golfer out there on Sunday. You know what I mean? He was definitely, and he won it, right? Like you made the case, like Willie Z didn't lose it. There's a difference. Like those guys, if you're going to say that, every single one of them lost it. I mean, Matty Fitzpatrick shit down. The only reason why Matt Fitzpatrick is there in the beginning is because that dude is just a grinder. He just like him and Abe Answer are similar to me. They just like hang out around the top. They just never get there, but they always like hang around and they're always close. It's not because they play amazing. They just always play good enough to like be in the mix when the courses are that tough. You know what I mean, Mangone? But they're never going to like just like ride away with a victory, those guys. You know what I mean? So I never thought they were going to, like, even on like before Sunday started, I just never in my head, I was like, okay, we got Cam Young, we got Mito, we got Willie Z. And then like, I thought Rory had a chance. I gave JT a chance too, just because he was JT, but like, those were the guys I was thinking. I really like Cam Young. I thought Cam Young on Sunday really had a good chance to get the victory, but all in all, you're right. So many little things could have changed the outcome of that, but JT won it, and it was pretty sick to see, actually.
Yeah, back to your Fitzpatrick point. I'll probably talk with Tam about this a little tomorrow. Fitzpatrick was the highest owned guy in Showdown. He was 44% for round 4. So
that's wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, if you're not playing the round 4 showdown, there's definitely some edge to it. So check that out on our channels. We always do the round 4 showdown. It's not normally on the Mayo Media Network or on our YouTube. It's a premium show. So that round 4 showdown show definitely is worth checking out. But overall, it was a fun tournament to watch. Ending was good, right? We had the three. Did you like the 3-hole playoff aggregate? I didn't like that as much. I wanted it just to be, we do sudden death, we go hole by hole. Like, I didn't like the whole 3-round aggregate. I understand, like, it helps, like it's better. Like, it's better to have like a larger sample size, right? For like the guy that's like winning. But for like a viewer's perspective, I just didn't like it as much. How about you?
So I think golf gets majority everything wrong with how they cover it, how they just go about doing a lot of their things. But that 3-round hole, like, I think it's cool, but at the same time, it could be so much better. Like, sudden death, one hole, like, that is by far more pressure than telling a guy, okay, you got 3 holes. You know what I mean? Even if you have one bad hole, you can get it back. You're not dead. And it's just almost anticlimactic. Like, when JT finished, didn't you feel like it was just like, yeah,
he's holding the lead. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
He got ahead, which he got ahead in the correct way. Like, they said it on the, I think they said it on the broadcast, like, no, on like the 3-hole aggregate playoffs, like, no one's like birdie to start. So don't get me wrong, he like earned where he was at, but it's like from like a viewership perspective, like, when
that's what I mean, though. It could have been so much better if it was just that hole. And that first hole, well, I mean, I would assume they would have played 18 because that was like the toughest hole anyways. But either way, like, that would have been a way cooler finish. Just like, okay, every shot, like, dude, if you mess up on one shot, you're done. You know what I mean? Like, you could be done. So the pressure is just way more if they did it that way, in my opinion. But again, it's what I expect golf to do, honestly. The 3 holes, the just anticlimactic finish. Like, I expect that from the PGA. You don't expect like excitement, Mangone, when you talk about golf. Like, they have exciting players and they still find a way to make it like not as exciting. I still can't watch like all these shots. Like, I still can't watch my guys. I can't pick and choose who I want to follow. Even on ESPN Plus, they have like the feature groups that you can follow, Mangone. But like, if I pay for an extra service, I should be able to go literally pick, and there should be a camera on every hole. Like, just a camera, you know what I mean? With camera on it, just follow, and then you can see anyone you want, anywhere you want. I don't understand how hard this is.
Yeah, you would think it'd be easier, but not sure why the PGA finds a way to mess it up all the time, but they always do. Especially when the Masters gets it right? You know what I mean? Like, the Masters has it. Not saying like, I get it. Like, not everyone can be the Masters. So sometimes I feel like they do it to make it where like they want to keep the Masters like so prestigious and amazing, so they make everything else worse. I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of at this point.
I mean, I don't think they do that. But again, I wouldn't put it past them. Like, honestly, but I did have fun. I thought it was a good tournament, and it was exciting with the guys all like bunched up. You kind of knew Mito was gonna play, a little tighter, like, he had the lead at first, Mangone, and then you could kind of tell it was like going back and forth. And then it was like a 3-man tie at one point. You just kind of could tell it was coming to a point where anyone in that mix could jump up and steal it, and then JT jumps up and steals it, and Willie Z, obviously. But it stinks. I respected Mito for getting on and getting the interview. I don't know if I could handle it getting interviewed after a loss like that. Like, that was pretty cool of him, I thought.
Yeah, they were saying like they don't have to. They can easily decline. So
that's why I thought it was cool. Like, I don't know if I could. Like, I would try to, but I don't know. Like, that, I respected the hell out of him for getting up there, and like, he was just talking. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have like I didn't feel like it was just like he was kind of like throwing the questions off or anything. He was trying to be as respectful as possible. Like, he definitely handled it like really well.
Oh yeah, for sure. If you guys could please like and subscribe to the video, it helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. Hit that red big button on the bottom right-hand corner. Subscribe to the channel to get notified when we go live, which, hey, we'll be going live today. We'll have the MLB Swing for the Fences show at 4:45. 6 o'clock, we'll have the premium show, the MLB Up the Lock show. So you don't want to miss out on that. And then I believe, JC, will you be on with Big T today, 7:15, talking about the Celtics and the Heat premium, breaking down all that, correct?
Yeah, I'll be on a lot of shows today. I'll be on the Up to Lock show with DC and K Fallick. I'll be hosting those two, giving the winners, maybe throw some winners in myself, and then the NBA show. So we'll talk showdown, me and Big T. Holden's day off, so no Holden, but me and Big T will break it down and talk about this Celtics series, and hopefully we can get that ship righted.
Well, you have DC will be on with you, just so you know. I know he's had the bad back, but DC, he said he's good to go, but he's going to be standing. So you're going to have a
Tell DC, no more 20-mile runs. He's got to stop this. No more 20-mile runs. We need him to give winners. Okay, we need him to give winners. He's got to slow his running down a little bit. If that means doing some new stuff or maybe bowing out of the marathon, we need healthy DC Mangone. Like you, we need healthy Mangone. We don't need COVID Mangone. We need full healthy. We need our troops healthy. What's up with this right now? Do I have to run like a health seminar for RPS?
I mean, JSU, I wish I was not stuck in this room. I wish I had all the health in the world, but I'm drinking. I got my water right here, JSU, right? I'm hydrating. So I'm at least not sitting here drinking, Big T's Mountain Dew or something, or Uncle T's Mountain Dew.
Yeah. What does Big T drink in the morning? Apple juice. I think it is.
Apple juice, which isn't bad, I guess. But do you have any thoughts on Big T's? Apple juice?
Like apple juice. I just don't drink it. Like I don't drink juice, but like when I was a kid, that was the juice I drank. So I approve of the apple juice. I just don't. I don't drink it. A lot of sugar. A lot of sugars.
Yeah, one of the few things JSU is approving that Big T eats or drinks, which is
this is black coffee, people. No sugar, no cream, no sweeteners, none of that crap. Get that out of your coffee.
Yeah, I have not been able to go out and get a cup of coffee in a while, JSU. It's very, very hurtful. But
that would drive me nuts. I would be going nuts right now. I couldn't get my coffee. Literally, yeah. I'd be sending Kelly. I'd be sending a roommate, anyone I could find to go get. I'd pay the neighbor $10 to go get me a friggin' $3 cup of coffee or something like that. I would find a way.
Yeah, I felt annoying to people for sure. Like people have definitely done stuff for me. Like, and I
don't you live with a couple people?
Yeah. I mean, they do.
They don't go get coffees. What is this?
No, those ones are the other one. The one that's not here would probably get coffee. He gets coffee.
Okay.
But no,
Mangone, Sylvester wants to know: are you on limited minutes? Are you on a minutes limit?
No minutes limit for me. I'm like Marcus Smart out there. If I'm in, I'm in. So I'm not no
warrior.
For me. Yeah.
Are you Paul Pierce or Marcus Smart? Which one are you? Are you the guy in the wheelchair who then jumps back up? Or are you the guy who cried on the floor for like 3 minutes, walked to the back of the locker room, and then ran back out? No wheelchair, though.
I'll say if it's going to get me a call, I'm going to cry. I'm going to sit there and cry and get the call. It's part of the game now. I know a lot of people like to cry about that. Like, they're like, oh, I hate when these guys just sit there and complain. I'm like, but like, it's just part of the game now. It's like that. So if it's gonna be the difference between my team winning and losing, you better believe, JFC, you want me sitting down on the ground crying as long as I can to get that call, right?
I guess, yeah. Hey, I respect you saying it. Like, it's true. It's kind of where the game's going, flaunting and flopping and throwing your hands up. Devin Booker throws his head back literally when he drives to the cup every single time. It drives me insane, like absolutely insane, watching him drive to the hoop every time. And I guarantee it's like on command, right when he gets that forward momentum towards the basket, watch his head every time, cocks back like that every time. And it's not because he's getting hit. It's not because it's like he's trying to pretend like he's getting contact even when he's not to get a foul.
I wish they would there would be like fines the other way or something to like.
Me too.
Somehow you can or it's like they just say like they go back and they review it, and it would slow the game down and be annoying, but they'd stop doing it if they just said, hey, you flopped there, like free throws for the other team. Like if you punish them, the guys will stop doing it. It's just
didn't they do that for like a quick period of time recently? Like the last couple of years, didn't they fine people for like flopping?
Yeah, I think they fined them, but the other thing too is like the fining never works because it's just like not hefty enough. It's just
no, you got to make it where like it's consistent too, right? Whereas like if you're known for it, you're just going to get hit and hit and hit to the point where, okay, now you're like, what the fuck? I don't want to keep writing these, $25K checks every other game. You know what I mean? Like, because it happens every game, every game.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. So, but we can talk about the games. We could start with let's start with last night's game, the one that we saw, the most recent. Man, like I'm surprised it's 3-0, right? Like I'm surprised that we're already here. I heard Draymond, one interesting quote that I heard from him is he was like, Dallas is not going to give up, right? Like he said, we knew going into game 3 and even game 4, like Dallas is not going to fold over no matter what. So they said that they kind of poured a lot into this game because they did not want to be in like a 2-1 series and then like, just leave the door open. They wanted to make it 3-0. That way, like, worst case, they can kind of just like get home and like win the game at home if they don't win the one in Dallas. Of course, Draymond Green's talked about it. He loves silencing people on the road, right? I mean, that's a fun thing to do. But I thought Dallas was going to win last night. They did not win. What was your thoughts on everything? Because I mean, yeah, Reggie Bullock, he gets 0 points. Yeah, it's going to be tough when a starter shoots 0 for 10 for you to win the game. But what did you think overall of the Dallas and Warriors game yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that for one, especially if you watch like the first half, first quarter, man, the first quarter was tough. Like if you were on Dallas, they couldn't hit a shot, man. Spencer Dinwiddie actually saved them a bunch of times. He hit some pretty big shots, kept them kind of in the game.
25 points, I think, right? Was that the
he did? Total? Yeah. He hit some big threes. He had 25 points. I'm pretty sure he was on the showdown winner too. I had him on my main team actually. That was like the key swap was like him and DFS and Bullock, and I just liked them a little more at home. But it was definitely an interesting game. Like I thought that Dallas had chances. They were breaking wide open shots. Like Maxi Kleber could not hit a jumper. When Maxi Kleber and Reggie Bullock combined for 0 for 15 from the field, 0 for 15 from the field. These are guys that play 30 plus minutes a night. And they're going 0 for 15, you're going to be in trouble, like for sure. Even if Luka gets you 40, it's still, you need those guys to hit some shots at home. They wide open shots too, and they just couldn't do it. Luckily, Dinwiddie held them in the game. Brunson was okay. He missed some wide open shots too, but he was okay. And Luka, back and forth. In the end, you look at the stat line, he was good, but they did a pretty good job on Luka. Again, like I thought that, there were some lapses in the fourth quarter, but I think at that time when Luka started turning it on a little bit, they already felt like the game was in hand, Mangone, like they had it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was tough to watch. I really thought Dallas was going to steal this game for sure. And they just, like I said, they couldn't make it happen. They couldn't hit shots, and you're going to be in trouble when you can't do that. Steve Kerr said it too. He's literally dared this team to hit wide open jumpers this entire series, Mangone. He just said it like they're not going to do it for a full game. If they do it for a full game, then they're going to beat us. But he even said it in game 2, like at one of those like reporter, in between the game, like if they keep shooting like that, we'll pat him on the back and we'll move on. And they just, he's called their bluff, and he's doing it. His game plans worked so far. So 3-0 coming home. I mean, staying in Dallas, obviously. Can Dallas make this, even a little interesting? I still think they could get a game, but it's tough. I really thought Dallas was going to win this game. So that stunk. I don't know where you lied in that game last night. Did you have Dallas winning or? Yeah,
I thought Dallas was going to win. So I had a similar course set up as you. Like I felt like Luka Brunson were going to show up. Right. And I just thought overall, like DFS was another guy I thought would have a bigger game. He was okay, but better than the other guys, right? I mean, like Bullock and Maxey were just horrible. So Dallas is probably, as Marcus just said in the chat, Dallas is probably dead. They're not going to win the series, but I want to make it interesting. I hope they can win the next game. And they're at home, right? These role players at home should shoot better at some point. And I don't know. I figure one of these games, they got to make threes, right? I mean, one of them, it's going to happen. We'll see if it happens.
They did in game 2, Mangone.
I know, and they lost.
And then they just couldn't do it in the second half. Something Spread's talking about on Sportsmanlike Conduct text. That friggin' technical on Dorian Finney-Smith for what? Because he pushed him in the back off a free throw? Was that that was serious?
Yeah,
That was like one of the worst calls ever. I've seen way worse. These refs got to start. They got to stop those type of technicals, and they got to start giving guys technicals for literally getting in their face and screaming at them. Like I think that's the weak shit calls that the NBA does. The real calls need to be them getting players in their face constantly, throwing their arms. And literally, yeah, you can hear Draymond like yelling at them when they go in. Like you can hear it. It's that loud. They need to start. It's not just him though. Luka gives the refs, all the time. A lot of these guys do. They just got to start teeing them up like constantly. And if it leads to throwing guys out, I don't like it. I really don't. I wish there was a way where like they just give a bigger penalty foul instead of like 2 techs and you're out, Mangone. Because I really hate tossing dudes. Like for you to be tossed, you need to like legit punch someone in the face. I hate them tossing dudes, but they need to figure out something where the refs aren't just getting because where's the line? I feel like the ref draws the line for different guys in different spots. Jordan Poole looks at a ref and it's a technical foul. Draymond gets in a ref's face and screams at him for 5 minutes and they wait 5 minutes and then they go, okay, now you got a technical. Like you should have just teed him up right on the spot for screaming in your face. Like those I'm fine with. They need to get more in line. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're Draymond Green. Oh, you're Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, you have no right to look at me. Dorian Finney-Smith, you have no right to say anything to me. Draymond, you can say, whatever you want and tell me to fuck myself 5 times before I give you a technical. That's the way it is right now. And I hate it. Like they need to figure out something. It's like the NFL, right? The NFL with some of these quarterbacks, the younger guys supposedly don't get the calls. The older vets, Tom Brady's, they get all the calls and we see it. It's like obvious.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's definitely frustrating to watch. For sure. We got Matt in the chat saying Dallas needs a defensive big man badly. Yeah, they need someone to stop Kevon Looney. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. Kevon Looney is out here just crushing. So yeah, he's saying it's gonna be a 4-0 sweep. Marcus is saying Miami versus Golden State. That's like what we see now. Going to be Warriors versus Celtics. So you think it's going to be Warriors versus Celtics? Actually, it's definitely going to be the Warriors. We know that for sure. I will say this before we kind of move on and talk about this next game. Guys, if you could, please like and subscribe to this video. It helps us out a ton. We appreciate it over here at Run Pure Sports. Also want to mention a couple things here. We got our Members Never Win segment, which, the people always say the members never win at Run Pure Sports, but the members did pretty well this weekend. It was a good week. Noah Howard won $3K in MMA. Mac 2 Services won $10K in MLB. Rye Guy won $10K in PGA with that wave stack. TMR6 won $27K in NBA and NHL. Title won an MMA ticket, so congrats to him. Tambo won $125K in PGA. And then in that big $4,444 milli, the Wog Show won $50K in PGA. And one of our members, TYA558, he won the $1 million in PGA. So congrats to him and all the other members that won. It was pretty good weekend over here at Run Pure Sports. So if you're not a member, go sign up now. Use that code RPSHeater25, get you 25% off. JSU, let's dive in though. Let's talk about this Celtics game because, hey, Celtics Miami series has gotten really interesting and there's just guys are falling left and right too. That's the other thing. Like Miami's losing players, Celtics are losing players. Every time I look away from TV, I feel like someone is going down. My phone gives me a notification. It's been crazy. They looked terrible the Celtics the other day, and they still almost came back and won. Bam Adebayo, the game plan to just get him involved and kind of play off him was really interesting to watch for sure in that first quarter because it was absolutely dominant. It slowed down a bit, but it was dominant in that first quarter and crazy to watch. So what are some of your takeaways and what is your thoughts here on the Celtics here leading up to game 4 JSU?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought it was kind of encouraging too, the way you're thinking for the Celtics, where like Tatum played awful. Like he was so bad and they still almost found a way to come back and win that game. And I know Jimmy was out. You can't put yourself in a hole like that though. The hole was massive after that first quarter and the beginning of that second quarter. And they still found a way to come back. I just don't think Bam can do that. Like, I just don't think Bam can do that for multiple games. If you think Bam can hold that consistency, though, that he did in the last game, and Jimmy comes back and they play with that type of Bam, though, then yeah, the Heat are going to be really tough to beat. But I just don't see that happening. And to me, it's going to come down to if the Celtics are healthy and the Heat are healthy, who is the better team? And I still feel like the Celtics are just the better team overall. And I'm going to use my eyes here, which tell me that even though these guys are hurt, Marcus Smart's going down with an ankle. I mean, there's still a 6-point favorite at home too, man, going like these guys are, I'm assuming everyone's probably going to be in, right? Is that our assumption here?
We just got Tyler Hero just got ruled out actually. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Tyler here. All right. So that's one guy down. As I say, everyone's going to be in. Honestly, Victor Oladipo deserves minutes. So hopefully that gives him actual minutes here, Mangone. Because man, he owned Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown like multiple times. He caused turnovers. I think he had like 4 steals, and they were like direct steals, like off of his one-on-one defense, where he just like picked them. Yeah, even if he was fouling a little bit, like I think he fouled Tatum on that one where he hurt his shoulder or whatever, but still, like either way, he was playing tough defense. And I just don't know why the Celtics kept attacking him. Like it makes no sense. Like you got one dude in there who's playing really good defense. This is a matchup league. Force someone else onto you using a screen and then go at them. It's not that hard. Stop going at the one guy who's friggin' pickpocketing you every time down the floor. Like Jaylen Brown and Tatum kept doing it. And I'm just like, why are they going at this dude? Like go at anyone else on the floor. I would be happy with. They kept going at Oladipo though. It made no sense.
So let me see. So Spoelstra says, so Jimmy's on track to play. Lowry on track to play. We're getting all the news now. Spoelstra downplays Tucker being in an air cast. He's going to play. So he's on track to play. Said knee's the same as when Tucker played last Saturday. So basically the same knee. So it's really looking like right now, the only guy that's out on the Heat is Tyler Hero, which I mean, I'm surprised that's happening too. All of them are, Vincent's warming up with the intent to play. Like all these guys, they're all going to play. So just everyone but Hero right now. I don't know, the Boston side, I want them to have Time Lord back. I think that he's like really important to the team. I did not like when he was like out. I was like, geez, that's really bad for the Celtics. I was very concerned by that. What's your thoughts on the Robert Williams injury? And JSU, we got a guy in the chat. He says, all these teams suck, weak playoffs. And you know what his name is? His name is Phila, and I think he's got an Embiid logo. So I think someone's a little salty in the chat that their boy Joel Embiid did not get to the next round. But
I know our boy Phila or Phila, however you say his name. I've seen him in the chat. He's definitely a Philadelphia fan, and what can you do, man, when your best player, who's by far your best player, has like 5 different injuries? I mean. Yeah. Right, Mangone? Like, it's tough. You lose him for 2 games against Miami or whatever it was. And then on top of it, he's playing banged up. It sucks. He's not healthy. But look at all these guys. Jimmy's hurt. Tyler Hero just got ruled out. Jason Tatum's got a shoulder thing. Marcus Smart, we all thought he broke his ankle the way he was crying on the ground.
Robert Williams is hurt. Al Horford.
Robert Williams. Garbage, right? Yeah, it's just the playoffs are all about health. I don't care what anyone says. Last year's playoffs, it was the same exact thing. I talk about it all the time. The Bucks got lucky that the Nets were not healthy. If the Nets were healthy, the Nets win that series. I don't care what anyone says. The Nets win that series.
You can make the argument, JSU, like the Celtics got lucky that Middleton was hurt this time.
So if you're a Bucks fan, 100% you can make that argument. But my point back to you is, they weren't making the argument like, oh, yeah, thank God that. No, they were just like, oh, we beat the Nets. We went on. We won the finals. Yes, the Middleton thing mattered because if you're the Celtics, you're looking at this team and going, okay, Giannis can score 50 As long as everyone else doesn't, we're okay. And we think we can stop everyone else. When Middleton's out there, it's a little harder because Chris Middleton is, professional. That's what he does, right, Mangone? He's a scorer. I call him the streakiest, like, all-star in the league because he gets on all-star teams somehow, but like he is so streaky. He can drop 25 in a friggin' quarter and then disappear for 3 quarters. And you won't know where he is. He's on the court. He's running up and down the floor, but he ain't doing shit. Chris Middleton is like that, but he can get hot same way. And they needed someone like Middleton, right? Right, Mangone, to take some pressure off of Giannis. And they just didn't have it. Drew was solid, but they needed Chris for his scoring. And, that definitely benefited Boston. So you're 100% right. We can make this case in all these series. The Embiid thing I was talking about. If Philly has a healthy Embiid, that's a 7-game series, and Philly has a really strong chance to win against Miami. Do I think they win? I think Miami still finds a way, but I'm just saying, like, that is a really tough series where it's a grinded out series, right, Mangone? Like, for sure. And I felt like Miami, even when Embiid was back, they still weren't worried about it because they knew Embiid was hurt. They knew he wasn't right. Like that's just the case. So yeah, you can make the case for a lot of different things.
Yeah. And Indoor Gaming, can we not post in the chat things like no Tatum today, guys? Like, where's your source? He's playing right now. As of right now, he is in. So like, unless you actually have proof, please don't post stuff like that. It's super annoying to have in the chat.
No Tatum, like he's saying Tatum like actually won't play.
It's my guess. What else would it be? No Tatum. Is he saying not to play him? Like,
I would assume is in like no Tatum for DFS, maybe.
I hope it's that because I don't know. You're talking about the injury, so maybe that's why I was thinking that. But hopefully,
I don't think the injury to the shoulder is like an actual like big deal. They listed him as probable. The Celtics aren't one of those teams though that like the Heat. They list everyone on the injury report every single week, like every single game, right, Mangone? Yeah. Everyone's questionable, and then most of them end up playing, right? The Celtics don't do that, right? The Celtics, they don't list guys for they list for actual injuries. So I would assume if he's even probable, he's got some type of shoulder thing going, but he came back into the game. So I don't think it's a shoulder thing that's going to cause him to sit, right, Mangone? Like
he's going to play. And like, listen, like he did not look great, but Tatum is a guy he's got the chance to bounce back, right? He's a stud. He can easily have a bad game and just bounce back with a huge game. And he's their best player. So listen, if I'm curious to see JSU, maybe people do get worried about the injury and maybe that keeps his ownership down somehow. I'm not sure. The problem is the captains that everyone's been playing in Showdown, which you guys will talk about on the Up the Lock show, but like those captains, Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum, they're both hurt. You know what I mean? Like they're both dealing with injuries. So like, who are they going to lose ownership somehow? And Jaylen Brown ends up being like the most popular captain? No, I don't think that happens because I doubt it. But
well, don't be because we all know everyone likes to follow what happened last game. We all know this, Mangone. So Jaylen Brown had the big game last game. I wouldn't be shocked if Jaylen Brown was in the captain, higher owned than Jason Tatum. It just wouldn't shock me. It's the way it works. You know what I mean? All these guys go for big games and then they're like, oh, this is just going to happen again. You know what I mean? And it's just over and over. That's how people play DFS. It's like the showdown for golf, right? Whoever's in first, second, third, they're always the highest owned. And then you fade those guys, they crumble, and then you win showdown in golf. Like it's just the way you play it.
Yeah. Dwayne said, I just want this to hurry up and get the Golden State and Boston. Well, Dwayne, even if it ends quicker, it doesn't just, they don't just magically move up the time. They have like an exact date already picked out for all the finals games. So you're gonna have to wait no matter what. It doesn't matter. So just give me games. Let's just, play some more DFS, have a good time. JC, I believe you believe that the Celtics are going to win this game tonight, right? Like I think the Celtics end up winning it. They are -6 and it's probably going to get even worse now. It's probably going to be like, it'll probably move at least to 6.5, 7. Maybe not too far just because the line doesn't move as much as people think when like a guy like Tyler Hero's out. So curious to get your thoughts. I'm assuming you're on the Celtics tonight. You assume it goes to 2-2 and it goes back to Miami.
Yeah. And I think if anything, people will put some money on the Heat with it being a 6-point game. They just saw the Heat win and, win pretty solid. Even though Boston came back, they still saw that. And Jimmy was out for the second half. So I think people will have some confidence to bet the Heat at this number. And yeah, I think the Celtics win. Horford looked really good. Big Bob was out, but I assume Big Bob's going to be back for this game. And I think that helps their defense, especially down in the paint, causing fits with someone like Bam, who I hope gets ownership for DFS purposes. I hope people just ride the one Bam game, because I will just fade his ass again. I don't even care. And then, Tatum, Brown, Smart. What happens with Jimmy? Like, we assume Jimmy's going to play. They said they're optimistic he plays. What if that knee flares up again? Are they is he going to just push it this game? Especially if it's a closer game. You can't tell me that the fact that they were up like 20 something at half didn't entice them to say, okay, Jimmy, you're gonna sit out the rest of this game. We've got a big cushion. We'll try and get it done without you. But that definitely had something to do with it, right, Mangone? Because I don't think Jimmy Butler sits out if the Celtics are up 5 going into halftime. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think you're right. His injuries are so weird, man. I never understand it. Like, it's always so shocking to see him go down, right? Like, he's known as being like this, like, warrior that fights through everything, but it's like he always is dealing with something, it feels like. So I would think so, JSU, but he's gone out in other games, which shocked me too. But yeah, the lead was secure. I really do hope that Robert Williams is in, and Robert Williams because I think he's so important for the Celtics. And the reason I think he's so important is good defense leads to what? Well, it leads to easier transition buckets on the other way. When you can get out in front, grab that defensive rebound. So I hope that that's the case. I want the Celtics to win. I'd be shocked if they don't win tonight. It'll be very intriguing to see how it kind of all plays out. I didn't even think Tyler Hero was was going to sit tonight. So that was like one surprising thing. I assume the line, like I said, probably move to 6.5 or 7, and then you can do what you want with it. I know, see some people in the chat asking what you'd parlay with Boston money line. Listen, I'm not really looking to parlay Boston money line. If I bet them, I would just bet them with the -6 and just kind of call it a day. But you have to see what it opens back up at. What else do you got?
Justin in the chat says JSU didn't like Looney last night. This was a little bit ago. Looney, Kevon Looney, was he on the winner? Was Kevon Looney on the winner?
I'm not sure. I don't know who was on the winner.
I know the answer to this, but Kevon Looney wasn't on the winner. Yeah, he was good. He still wasn't on the winner for Showdown. Like, the Showdown winner was double punt with Luka captain, Curry, Wiggins. I think the dude solo shipped to with this team, which was amazing, actually.
Well, if it was double punt, there's definitely a chance it was solo ship, because double punt is it depends.
It had Bertans, so I'm counting Bertans as a punt. He wasn't 1K, but he was 2,800, or 2,600. But Spencer Dinwiddie, Wiggins, Curry with Luka and captain, and Bertans and Moody as the 2 punts, who got you a combined like 10.5 points or whatever it was combined. Like, that's the crazy thing. When you play cheap dudes like that, Mangone, you don't need them to always do that much. Like, I saw people tilting Moody, and I'm like, dude, you want Moody to literally bang you a 3 and get a rebound or 2. Like, that's it. Like, if he does that, your goal. If he gets you like 3 points, you're probably good. Like, that's what I was saying in my head. Like, I wanted him to get more. I wanted him to get me 10, right? But I'm just in my head, I'm just like, give me a board. Give me an assist. Like, give me a lucky rebound or a point or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that mid-tier too was just so bad, right? Like, it was just horrific. So that's another reason why. That's very interesting. That's how it kind of played out.
Well, because they faded all, like, Poole. He played Spencer Dinwiddie over Poole, Bullock, and DFS, which was a big, because those guys had ownership, especially Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was 65% owned. So he faded all those guys for Dinwiddie, and then he played Wiggins, who outscored Dre, which you needed. And I think he outscored Brunson, which you needed. And then he played Steph and Luka in the cap. It's just crazy that Luka in the captain was a solo shipper in my mind. Like, that's just wild.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's an interesting setup. Guys, if you could please like and subscribe to this video. It helps us out a ton. We appreciate it over here at One Pure Sports. We did have one of our members ended up winning $1 million in PGA. But speaking of $1 million, you can win $1 million playing some underdog over and play some NFL best ball. There's a $10 million prize pool for the Best Ball Mania 3. If you use the code RUNPURE right now over on Underdog, you get a $100 match deposit bonus with your first deposit. So head on over there if you're going to do some drafts. Sign up now and use that code RUNPURE. JSU. So I assume you think that Boston wins the series still. Like, what do you think? Where do you think it goes? Is it going 6? Is it going 7? I think this thing is going. I think this thing's going 7. I think it's going to be a fun one. I think the Warriors one is pretty much over. It's either going to be 4 or 5. I don't know which one it's going to be, but what's your kind of final predictions here on like the last two, the Eastern and Western Conference series? And then obviously we'll save the finals previews and guesses for once we kind of come back on the morning show, once we kind of know what's going to happen. So what's your thoughts here? How do you think the Celtics win and how do you think the Warriors win?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to still say the Warriors win 4-1. Here, I still think Dallas gets this one at home. I think they get one game, so I think I'm gonna say 4-1 for the Warriors, and they kind of close it. Kind of like in Memphis, how like Memphis just routed them. I don't know if they get routed, but kind of like how they were like, "Fuck it, we'll just go back home and beat them." Like after they got pummeled by like 40 Mangone, remember, like Memphis. So I think they get beaten, and then they come back at home and win, and then 5 games. But Celts, I'm going to still say 6. I think the Celtics are just much better. Again, health is going to play a big part in this series. Guys going down, we can't control. But the way it looks to me I'm assuming all those Celtics are in. I'm assuming all the Heat guys are outside of Hero, who's obviously out. The rest of the Heat guys are going to play. And I would assume that Victor Oladipo steps in and plays some Hero minutes, which defensively is good for them. Their issue is going to be, where's the offense come from? Because when Bam ain't scoring you 31, you need Jimmy to have a big game. And if Jimmy don't have a big game, who is going to step up? And a lot of talk about Kyle Lowry and all this stuff. Kyle Lowry is, I don't care what anyone says. I've been watching this dude since he came into the league. He is washed. He cannot get an open. He cannot create himself an open jumper. Like, he can't do it. He's too slow and fat. He is old. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, can he still run an offense? Yeah, of course he can. He can run an offense. He's still smart. He's still got like a high IQ. He always had one of those, in my opinion. But he is not the same player he was. You cannot lean on him. Everyone was saying how great he had 11 points last game. Mangone. Everyone was like, Kyle Lowry was just the amazing and did everything. Like he had 11 points. He looked good in
the first quarter. I will say that. But that's,
you mean the first quarter, like the first play of the game where he threw the ball to nobody? Like it was like the first play of the game. He banged the 3 and had a 2-pointer, and everyone was going nuts. Like, oh my God, he's so good. Like, no, Kyle Lowry, no, he's not it. But again, if I'm a Boston backer, I want them to play Kyle Lowry. I don't give a shit. They know that he's over the hill. Like you're leaning on Kyle Lowry for a full series. You're in trouble. So you better hope Bam pulls that, offense out of the hat again, because if he doesn't, you're in big trouble here.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to wrap it up for us guys here on the morning show. Thanks a lot for joining us. JSU, thanks for joining me as well. Title will be here on Thursday. He had some issues in the house. There's a banging hammer, so you guys didn't want to hear that. Tomorrow, we're going to be joined by Tambo. Tambo will be on here talking his showdown win. We'll talk a little golf too for the coming up week. We won't go too much into it because he'll be on the other shows and stuff, but we'll break it down. Should be a good time. And then Wednesday, I don't have DC because I didn't know if I could count on him because of that back, JSU. But you know who I got? I got JT Hayes talking some morning baseball.
Oh, so oh boy, I'm definitely tuning in for the JT Hayes banger. When's that?
Wednesday morning.
Oh yeah, stay tuned. JT Hayes, he brings it, man, and he loves Sweet Travis. That's his guy. That's him, and Sweet Travis is a nice combo. That's a spicy combo.
Yeah, we can't wait. It's going to be a good time. He'll be on here. He's got off a couple days this week. So he's popping on Wednesday to do the show. Should be fun. Should be a fun time. But thanks a lot for joining us here on the Run Pure Sports Morning Show. Catch us tomorrow. Catch JSU today at 6 o'clock on the Up the Lock Show. Subscribe to the channel. That way at 4:45, you can check out the MLB Swing for the Fences show. And then check out the NBA playoff show as well tonight at 7:15. But that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us, guys. For me, Mangone and JSU, we will see you guys later.